Welcome to the first episode of a new series of 2 Cents Tuesday. This time around, I'm changing things up. Most times, 2 Cents Tuesday will be a video blog, and on some occasions, as it was in the past, it will be a written post. Today, I will focus on a subject that our country has been speaking, writing, developing memes, can we call that memeing, and even singing about, fig, the Creole name for bananas. Judging from all the attention fig has been getting over the past week, one would be forgiven for thinking that our country has gone bananas. But how did we get here? Well, in a recent press conference, the Prime Minister of Saint Lucia said that his government was trying to encourage Saint Lucians to eat more bananas and create products like, in his own words, fig pie and banana bread. He went on to say that, in particular, his government was going to focus its attention on getting young people to eat more bananas. Well, this statement unleashed a storm of postings and memes, some in support of what the Prime Minister said, some explaining what the Prime Minister meant, and some ridiculing the Prime Minister's statement. As most people would know, during the decades of the 1970s, 1980s, and the first half of the 1990s, bananas dominated the economic and social landscape of our country. So important was the banana to the lives and livelihoods of Saint Lucians and Dominicans, Vincentians, and to a lesser extent Grenadians, that it was known as green gold. In 1990, roughly 40% of the people engaged in agriculture in Saint Lucia were employed in the banana industry. Bananas made up over 45% of our total exports. Agriculture contributed 14.5% of our country's gross domestic product, or GDP, and bananas accounted for 10% of our GDP. In 1990, we exported 117,564 tons of bananas to the UK, which brought in 188.4 million EC dollars of revenue into our country. Somewhere around that time, there were over 55,000 acres of land in Saint Lucia devoted to agriculture. There were also approximately 10,000 active banana growers on our island. Up until that time, our bananas enjoyed protected and preferential status in the United Kingdom market. However, in the early 1990s, conditions changed. The protected status enjoyed in the UK by the Windward Islands and Jamaica was challenged in the UK courts by a trader who wanted to import bananas from Latin America into the UK. A combination of court challenges, World Trade Organization or WTO rulings, and the formation of the European Union's single economic market conspired to erode the preferential treatment that our bananas enjoyed in the UK. Trade regimes changed. We moved from duty-free access of our bananas to the UK market under the Lomé Agreements and its successor, the Cotonou Agreement, to tariff rate quotas and licenses, and to tariff-only regimes. The 1990s to early 2000s was a period of great uncertainty for our banana industry with respect to the developments in the UK market. There was great volatility in market prices because of the increasing competition from cheaper so-called dollar bananas coming from Latin American producers. And this is when our production started to fall as many of our farmers left the industry. However, the 1990s was also very significant for our industry because it signaled the birth of the Windward Islands Banana Development and Exporting Company, WIBDECO. Prior to the formation of WIBDECO in 1994-1995, the Windward Islands Banana Growers Association, WINBAN, was the intermediary between the banana growers through their associations in the Windward Islands and GEES, the UK-based and owned shipping company. The formation of WIBDECO came out of negotiations between the Windward Islands and GEES, which on our side was spearheaded by Calix George Sr. and Cyril Matthew of St. Lucia, Bernard Yankee of Dominica, and Arnim Eustace of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Prime Minister Sir John Compton of St. Lucia, Dame Eugenia Charles and Edison James of Dominica, and Sir James Son Mitchell of St. Vincent and the Grenadines presided over the formation of WIBDECO Windward Islands and its UK company, WIBDECO UK. The advent of WIBDECO also shifted responsibility for loading bananas in the Windward Islands and unloading them in the UK from the UK company Geese to Webdeco, and made the banana growers and the governments in the four Windward Islands owners of all elements of the banana supply chain, from the farm to the sale, up to, but not including, the UK supermarkets. Furthermore, the wisdom of these pioneers caused Webdeco to team up with the Irish company Fives to jointly purchase the lucrative Geese Line Limited, which was a shipping business that not only transported bananas from the Windward Islands to the United Kingdom, but also handled the profitable reverse voyage where cars, food products, and other high-value commodities were shipped from the UK to the Caribbean. The £20 million loan from the Allied Irish Bank to Webdeco that allowed it to purchase a 50% share in the joint venture company Geese Line Limited was guaranteed by Fives, the other partner in the joint venture company, and was eventually fully paid off by Webdeco. So profitable was the banana industry back then. Webdeco, which was renamed Windfresh in 2009 to signal an intention to market a wide range of produce and not just bananas, made it possible for the Windward Islands banana industry to achieve something that very few Caribbean industries had managed, and that is control of every aspect of the value chain, from production to packaging to shipping to marketing. The only element that we did not own was the wholesale and retail business. In Windfresh, we had an institution that acquired 3 decades of experience in the United Kingdom and intimate knowledge of all elements of the supermarket trade. We had a company with a network that extended into all the major UK supermarkets like Tesco, Sainsbury's, Asda, Morrison's, Marks and Spencer, and Waitrose, as well as the discounters like Aldi, and the hypermarkets like Makro and Costco. We had a company that could handle the importation, marketing, and distribution of all fresh produce into the UK. Windfresh owned the 9 acres of land on which it was headquartered in Essex, as well as the 5 building modules that occupied almost 100,000 square feet of space on that land. Its fruit ripening rooms were among the most modern and technologically advanced in the United Kingdom. The Windfresh facility was 10 minutes by car from London Stansted Airport, which is the 4th busiest airport in the United Kingdom and the UK's gateway to Europe. All of this was lost last year when Windfresh was allowed to go into administration, with no effort to salvage any part of its operations. The very valuable Stansted facility was purchased by the Essex Council, and the ripening rooms were scrapped. The equally lucrative joint venture shipping company, Geese Line Limited, was purchased by Seatrade and Jamaica Group Limited, JP. Therefore, knowing this, it is very difficult for me to understand how we will revive the banana industry, particularly the export market to the UK, when we have lost one of the most valuable assets that our banana industry owns. I know that in recent years, a regional market has developed in Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Antigua and Barbuda, and St. Kitts and Nevis. But the capacity of that market is limited. And even there, we have competition from banana producers in Suriname. However, let us assume that we are able to get over this monumental loss of Windfresh and the geese shipping business. Where will the bananas come from? As I said earlier, in 1990, we exported almost 120,000 tons of bananas to the UK, which brought in over 188 million EC dollars in revenue to our country. Almost 30 years later, in 2019, we exported a mere 7,229 tons to the UK, which brought in only 12.9 million EC dollars in revenue. This is roughly a 95% reduction in both production and revenue. We have moved from a banana grower base of roughly 10,000 active growers in 1990 to approximately 200 active growers presently. In other words, our banana grower base has shrunk by 98%. The land on which we grow bananas, in fact, the land on which we farm, has declined dramatically. The agriculture census of 1996 showed 51,328 acres of land in agricultural holdings. 11 years later, in the 2007 agriculture census, the acreage of land in agriculture had shrunk to 30,204 acres. This means that in 10 years, up to 2007, we had lost over 40% of our agricultural land. If we are to judge from what our eyes can see, with how farmlands are being sold in Roseau and in some other parts of our country, places where we used to get our highest banana production yields, I would hazard a guess that the area of land currently being used for agriculture in our country is significantly less than 20,000 acres. Your guess is as good as mine as to how little of this is currently on the bananas. What is also very instructive is the amount of financial support Saint Lucian governments have provided to the banana industry over the years. Most of this financed with resources from the European Union. My conservative calculation from the stated allocations in the various budgets that have been presented and passed in our parliament shows that between 1993 and 2017, various administrations pumped $222,156,778 into the banana industry through direct income support, debt write-offs, infrastructure improvements, pest and disease control, and various production recovery and management programs. This is the same period during which the massive contractions I just spoke about occurred. Because of our hilly terrain, the cost of labor, and the cost of inputs, the cost of production for Saint Lucian and Windward Islands bananas was always significantly higher than that of our competitors. The last data that I have access to show the FOB price of a box of Windward's bananas at close to $14 US, compared to $12 US for bananas from the Dominican Republic, $11 US for bananas from Colombia, a little over $10 US, that is, for bananas from Panama and Costa Rica, under $10 US for bananas from Ecuador, and a little over $9 US for bananas from the West African countries of Cameroon and Ghana. In a little over 1 year, the price of a 50-kilogram bag of fertilizer in Saint Lucia has risen dramatically. So I shudder to think what costs of production are like presently for our farmers. On top of all that, we have never been able to deal adequately with the post-harvest quality problems that increase our cost of production and cause so much of our fruit to be rejected and never to reach the UK supermarkets. So, when the Prime Minister calls for St. Lucians to produce banana pies and banana bread, his thinking is not really misguided. There is money in the value-added end of agriculture. If you go to the body shop in the UK, you will find banana shampoo and banana conditioner. And a trip to any Whole Foods store in the US will reveal an entire shelf of banana chips, banana brittle, and many more shelves of high-priced, value-added products from a range of commodities that are widely available and grown in St. Lucia. Therefore, there is merit in encouraging a value-added agriculture sector to emerge in our country. However, this will not happen simply because the Prime Minister tells people to produce bananas, banana byproducts, or any other agricultural commodity. It needs deliberate and targeted government policy in several areas, like the protection of arable land in a rational land use plan, measures to reduce the cost of inputs, including the cost of electricity and packaging, which are important for the value-added sector, the presence of a vibrant agricultural research facility, which also provides diagnostic and advisory services to producers and processors, the availability of credit through the Development Bank and the credit unions, support for the formation of farmer groups and cooperatives to address the diseconomies of scale that plague the sector, the establishment of a land bank to convert idle arable land into productive holdings, a comprehensive program for irrigation and water management in the agriculture sector, given our dependence on rainfall and the increasing variability and unpredictability of this very important input, an insurance or other risk mitigation scheme to give farmers some level of protection from extreme weather events like drought, floods, and heavy winds, which will become more frequent and more devastating with climate change, and a government that is serious about food security and elevates agriculture and fisheries to the place they should occupy in our national development agenda. It would also benefit tremendously from the presence of a shipping, ripening, marketing, and distribution entity like we had in Windfresh. Sadly, we do not have such an entity anymore. We need urgently to develop a balanced and sustainable agriculture and fisheries sector. It is sad that our governments have never implemented a coherent and adequately resourced plan that will improve our food security, stimulate the rural economy, and create sustainable jobs for young and old. It is very fashionable these days to talk about the green economy and the blue economy, which cover the wide range of businesses that can be developed from agriculture, fisheries, and terrestrial and marine ecosystem services. Some of our development partners, like the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, and the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, as well as multilateral development banks like the World Bank and the Caribbean Development Bank, are providing financial and technical support for green and blue economy initiatives. We need to use this newfound international interest and support, as well as the funding available through climate finance instruments for nature-based solutions, to cause a renaissance in our agriculture and fishery sectors. If we are not prepared to do these things, then all the talk of fig and fig pies by the Prime Minister and all the social media storm this has generated, instead of stimulating a revival of our agriculture sector, will end up being just us as a country, figuratively going bananas for a week or so, which seems to be happening with alarming frequency these days. Thank you for watching True Sense Tuesday. Goodbye.